Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. Niccolo Machiavelli, The Prince, 1513.
There is a person in your life right now who knows exactly what you are hiding. They have never said it. They have never confronted you about it. They just know, and the terrifying part is you have no idea they figured it out. That person is the quiet one, the one you probably underestimated. Machiavelli wrote about this type of person 500 years ago, and what he said about them still applies to every office, every relationship, every social circle on earth today. He was not talking about monks or introverts. He was talking about the most strategically dangerous human being you will ever encounter in your life. And most people walk past them every single day without realizing what they are dealing with. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you are going to recognize at least one person in your life who fits everything I am about to describe. And there is a real chance that person already knows things about you that you never intended to reveal. Let me start with something that happened in a real workplace that you are going to recognize immediately. There is a meeting room, 12 people sitting around a table. A senior manager is presenting a new strategy. 9 people in the room are nodding, asking questions, making comments, trying to look engaged and impressive. 2 people are checking their phones discreetly, and 1 person is just sitting there, quietly, not nodding excessively, not asking performative questions, just watching, eyes moving around the table, taking in everything, saying almost nothing. 3 months later, that quiet person gets promoted over everyone else in that room. The people who were talking the most are confused. They were the visible ones. They were the engaged ones. They were the ones everyone noticed. But the decision maker in that room noticed something different. The quiet person saw things nobody else saw. They noticed who was genuinely engaged and who was performing engagement. They noticed whose ideas actually had substance and whose were designed to sound impressive. They noticed the politics underneath the surface of that meeting that everyone else was too busy talking to observe. That is not a made-up story. That dynamic plays out in every workplace, every family, every social group on earth. Every single day, and Machiavelli understood exactly why. Here is the first thing most people get completely wrong about silence. Silence is not the absence of something. Silence is not what happens when a person has nothing to say. Silence is a deliberate act. It is a choice that requires more discipline than most people have. Because the natural human impulse, especially in social situations, is to fill every gap. To make noise, to perform, to signal your value to the people around you through your words. The person who resists that impulse has trained something in themselves that most people never develop. They have trained the ability to be comfortable being unknown, to let other people assume whatever they want to assume, to reveal their hand only when they choose to, not when social pressure demands it. Machiavelli understood this. In The Prince he wrote that a wise ruler never reveals all of his thoughts. That the moment you become fully readable to the people around you, you lose the authority that mystery creates. Because people do not deeply respect what they can completely predict. They respect what they cannot fully figure out. Silence creates that space between what you are thinking and what other people can confirm. And in that space lives more influence than most people accumulate in a lifetime of talking. But here is where it gets genuinely uncomfortable for most people. Because while you are busy filling silence, the quiet person is not just passively waiting. They are working. Every single word you say in front of them is information they are collecting and filing away. Your frustration in the moment tells them exactly where your limits are and what you cannot handle. Your enthusiasm tells them what you value most and what you are most afraid of losing. Your defensiveness when a certain topic comes up tells them which accusations are closest to the truth. Your nervous laughter tells them where you feel most exposed. The stories you tell repeatedly tell them what experience shaped you most deeply. The names you never mention tell them who hurt you badly enough that you cannot bring yourself to say it out loud. They are not just listening to your words. They are reading everything that exists between your words. The hesitations, the contradictions, the things you started to say and pulled back from at the last second. By the time a silent person chooses to respond to you, they have already built a complete picture of who you are. They know things about you that you never consciously decided to share. And you know almost nothing real about them. That gap in information is not accidental. It is the source of every advantage they hold over every interaction they are part of. Now I need you to think about someone specific. Think about someone in your life right now who rarely talks about themselves. Who listens more than they speak. Who almost never reacts visibly to things that would make other people emotional. Someone who you occasionally catch just watching a situation rather than participating in it. How much do you actually know about that person? What they really think about you? What they have noticed about your behavior over the months or years you have known them? What conclusions they have already reached that they have never shared with you? The answer, if you are honest with yourself, is almost nothing. You know what they chose to show you. And what they chose to show you is a fraction of what they actually see. That is not paranoia. That is just how asymmetric information works between a person who talks freely and a person who does not. Machiavelli spent years in courts watching this dynamic destroy powerful men. Men who believed they were the most important person in every room they entered. Men who talked confidently and openly and revealed their strategies, their fears, their ambitions, their resentments. And the people who sat quietly in those rooms absorbed every word, stored it, and used it at exactly the right moment. He wrote that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. The people who got deceived were not stupid. They were just loud. They were just open. They just trusted the room more than the room deserved. But there is one quality that Machiavelli considered the most dangerous thing about silent people. More dangerous than their ability to collect information. More dangerous than their strategic patience. Silent people almost always know exactly who around them is performing and who is genuine. Not because they are suspicious of everyone, but because they have been paying attention long enough to watch the inconsistencies stack up. They noticed the time your story changed slightly between two separate conversations 6 months apart. They noticed that your generosity and warmth appeared most reliably when you needed something from someone and became harder to find once you got it. They noticed that the confidence you carry in certain rooms evaporated completely the moment someone more impressive or more powerful walked in. They noticed the small cruelties you think nobody sees because you saved them for people you believe have no power to affect you. They catalogued all of it, without a word, without a reaction, without ever letting you know they were watching that carefully. And when a silent person finally reaches a conclusion about your character, you will never know it happened. There is no confrontation, no conversation where they lay out what they observed, no argument, no moment where you get to explain yourself or reframe what they saw. They simply begin to withdraw. Quietly, gradually, and by the time you notice the distance, it has already become permanent. You will spend a long time running through your memories trying to find the moment things changed, not realizing the decision was made long before you felt it. Long before they showed you anything had shifted at all. This is what made Machiavelli genuinely wary of silent people in a way he was never wary of aggressive or ambitious ones. Aggressive people telegraph their intentions. Ambitious people reveal their desires. Silent people reveal nothing until they choose to act. And by then the position has already shifted. So what do you do with all of this? Because there are two ways to receive everything I just told you. The first way is to become anxious about the quiet people in your life. To start wondering what they know. To start performing more carefully around them. That approach will make you more readable, not less, because anxious performance is the easiest thing in the world for a perceptive person to detect. The second way, which is what Machiavelli actually intended, is to recognize that silence is something you can choose to. He believed that the most powerful version of any person is not the most talented version or the most intelligent version. It is the version that has learned to master their own reactions. The version that does not respond to every provocation the moment it arrives. The version that does not need to correct every misunderstanding or defend themselves against every accusation. The version that has stopped requiring the approval and understanding of every person in every room. Because here is what nobody tells you about the need to explain yourself and justify your choices and make sure people see you the way you want to be seen. That need is not a personality trait. It is a leash, and whoever knows how to trigger that need in you holds the other end of that leash whenever they want to. The moment you genuinely stop performing for the room, something real changes in how people treat you. Not immediately, not overnight, but over time the dynamic shifts. You become harder to read, harder to predict, harder to manipulate and harder to dismiss. The words you do speak carry more weight because they are no longer guaranteed. Because your silence has already trained the people around you to understand that when you open your mouth it is because something actually needs to be said. That is not a social strategy you pick up and put down. That is a fundamental shift in how you exist around other people. It starts with a single decision. The decision to stop giving automatic unlimited access to everything you think and feel the moment you think and feel it. Not everyone deserves that access. Most people have not earned it. And the ones who have will still be there after the silence. The ones who disappear when you stop performing were only there for the performance. Machiavelli spent his entire life returning to this idea in different forms across everything he wrote. He understood that in a world full of people competing for attention and approval and recognition, the person who needed none of those things from the room held a kind of power that could not be taken away. The quietest person in the room is rarely the least powerful. In almost every room that has ever mattered, they were the most. If this made you think of someone specific in your life, or if you recognized something real about yourself in what I just described, leave one word in the comments. Silent. I will know exactly who this found.